Welcome back to the Gun Collective. My name is John Patton. The holidays are here, and I know you're out there looking around at all the stuff that you could buy for the special gun guy or girl or yourself for that matter, and wondering, what do I pick that isn't junk and won't break the bank? Welcome to the first ever TGC Gun Guy gifts for under $100. I want to say a quick thank you to TacPack for sponsoring this video. To check out their monthly boxes full of stuff you actually want, go to TacPack.com, and to get a special deal, wait until the end of the video for a promo code. Alright, are you guys ready for this? I'm going to do this as quick as I can, and remember, all of the links to these products will be down in the description below, so please check them out. Now, first up, I know tons of you have AR-15s and mess with them all the time. That being said, having a solid way to mount them in a vise is super important so you don't bend or break something. I'm recommending two different tools for that specifically. The Geissele reaction rod, which is specific to the upper receiver, but made out of metal so it'll last a while. That's a tool I've used a whole bunch. The other option, which I haven't used as much, but I'm still really impressed with, is the Magpul Bev Block. It uses the bolt carrier to sandwich the block into the receiver and barrel extension and create a solid way to work on things in a vise. You can also turn it upside down and use it to work on the lower. A little bit more of an all-in-one mount than the Geissele, but both products are really good in my book for working on your gun. And if you're working on an AR or just about any other gun, you need a good set of punches. Typically, I'll recommend something like this set with both steel and brass punches, but is that absolutely necessary? No, you just got to be careful with steel punches so you don't scratch stuff. You can also get away with something a little bit more simple like this all-steel set. I bought mine from freaking Home Depot, for God's sake. And speaking of punches, I really like these little Delrin AR takedown pin punches. I mess with a ton of different ARs all the time, and sometimes the pins need a little bit of massaging to get out easily. You know, fat fingers don't work well with small parts. So that's when I bust out one of these little Delrin punches and give it a tap. Makes it way faster and I don't have to worry about any scratches. Moving along, if you've ever taken a training class, you know how quickly loading mags becomes a huge pain in the butt. Something like the Up Lula is a perfect way to save your fingers when stacking tons of rounds. I personally went with the pink one because I would never lose something bright pink in a sea of flat dark earth and black. They also make them for ARs and smaller guns like 22s and 380s, so it's definitely worth taking a look and maybe helping yourself out. And speaking of training and shooting a lot, I'm going to say something that a lot of people may not agree with. Magazines are disposable. They go bad, things break, they wear out. Do not be afraid to replace them, guys. Don't sit on them like they're made out of gold. They're plastic, metal, and they can break. I recently picked up a bunch of P-Mags and these ETS Glock stick mags for super cheap. I think it was 10 bucks a piece for the P-Mags and like 20 bucks a piece for the ETS mags. And now that there's no panic buying with the election being over, you should be able to find some smoking deals on these too. So let's say you've got your AR assembled, you've got a ton of mags, well then you need to feed them. And as ammo pricing continues to increase over the years, lots of people have looked at reloading as a means to soften the blow on the cost. The absolute best thing you can get for a reloader is a reloading manual. These are like a freaking Bible for guys that make their own ammo. You find the load data in there and then you develop your own ammo from that. I personally recommend the Hornady manual as I've found that it has the biggest variety of cartridges, including the big bore stuff that I like to shoot all the time. If you're reloading and trying to save money, you might be using lead projectiles. And if you shoot a lot, you get lead vapor and all kinds of nasty things on your hands. That being said, get some D-lead wipes. I use the wipes and the D-lead hand soap religiously when I worked at a place that made lead bullets, and I know that they help me keep that nasty stuff out of my body. Okay, so you're ready to shoot, you have your gun, you have your mags, you have your ammo. Now you need some way to carry all that stuff. The best deals I've found on cases year after year have been from Midway USA. Every single year they discount their AR cases and range bags a ton during the holidays. I picked mine up about 4 to 5 years ago and it's still going strong. It has not fallen apart. It's still kicking butt. I got the really big range bag that has like the inner carrier for ammo, and I really like that. I use the inner bag more than I use the big bag. So you got all that, and you're headed to the range. Well, if you're at the range and it's warm out, the chances are you're going to run into some bugs. I personally can't freaking stand mosquitoes. I get lit up with mosquito bites every summer. That being said, I've never really had a good solution besides bug spray for preventing that, and I hate the way that stuff feels on my skin. It wasn't until I went on my nilgai hunt down in South Texas that I found out about the Thermacell. I had seen them in stores all over the place, but I just figured that was BS. I figured they didn't work until I actually used one. In the southernmost part of Texas, in the late days of spring, that thing saved my life. I watched bugs just kind of come into my area and then go, oh no, and just turn right around because of that thing. You should also invest in some electronic ear protection. I've been using the Howard Leight Impact Sports for years. I have like 5 or 6 pairs of them in the back of my car. And I love the audio quality when I'm talking to someone at the range with the Howard Leights. I feel like I can hear the conversation clearly, and it's not cutting out too much with the gunshots. However, if you're wearing them for a while, and I'm talking like 4 hours or more, like a training class, you may get a little uncomfortable, and therefore you may want to look at the Peltor Tactical 100s. They're way more comfortable for long-term use, but the audio quality kind of suffers a little bit in comparison to the Howard Leights. It cuts out a little more. So you went to the range, you had a good time, your trip is over, you're coming home. What else could you possibly need? The last 3 things that I'll tell you you need in your kit. You need a good flashlight. I bought my friends all a Surefire Titan for Christmas a couple years back because it's tiny, it's about this big, and it puts out a ton of light. I personally carry a P2X Fury on a fairly regular basis, so that's something to consider as well. Both Surefire lights, and thank you to Whitey from 4Guys Guns for pointing out just how good Surefire lights are. On top of that, you need a good pocket knife. There are a plethora of reasons why you need a good knife on you. Again, this is something that I was like, no, I don't really need a knife. And then I had one, and I was like, oh, I don't know why I didn't carry this for years. I personally like my HK Ally because it's really affordable. I think it's like 30-some bucks or something. It's affordable. And it's really slim, and I love gigantic thumb holes for my sausage fingers. And then you also need to get some bins and organizers for your gun area. This sort of thing is important. You know, I do a lot. I have a lot of different calibers. I have a lot of different projects in the works. I've got parts everywhere. So something to keep me organized is a good thing. I personally use a ton of these shoebox-sized bins for organizing brass for reloading, and then I use this kind of divided one for smaller parts and things that are in the works. All right, so I said those were the last 3. I got one more that I think you guys will really like. And it's just because I think it's cool to have. The ammo displays from Ballistic Concepts. Those of you that have followed TGC for a while might remember that I gave a few of these things away. Well, now I've got a ton of them in my office, and I just think they're cool to look at, and they're affordable. So you should probably pick one up if you have nothing else to buy for that gun guy, yourself, whatever. I think they're really cool to have, and they're somewhat educational. TacPack offers some of the highest quality tactical and EDC gear in a monthly package shipped right to your door. They aren't focused on sending you a bunch of crap. They want to make sure that you get gear you will actually use, featuring things like knives, tourniquets, multi-tools, AR-15 parts, and survival gear. TacPack is bound to have gear that you're going to love. If you order right now, you can get either a free hat or a free multi-tool by using the code TGCHAT or TGCTool at TacPack.com. I hope that helps you all find something for the gun guy or gal in your life, whether that's you, your spouse, whatever. If there's something you think would be a great gift for under $100, let me know down in the comments. And if you haven't yet, get subscribed, because that's the only way I'm gonna feel complete this holiday season. And as always, thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon.